Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel, to this recording, to my weekly analysis. It's a Monday morning. I'm excited. Brand new week, new opportunity to make some tips, guys. So what's the time now? Kenyan time, I think it's about 8:54, about 6 minutes to 9 a.m. So depending on when you're going to be watching this, guys, you could be watching it in the evening, morning, afternoon, but welcome either way. If this is your first time, this is your brand new first time to be on my channel, please like, subscribe, and welcome once again. And but I also want to make another point in case you guys hear any background noises, sounds, loud banging. There's some construction happening near where I am, so I apologize in advance. Please bear with me for the next few minutes. That being said, we are looking at gold. This is the first pair I want to analyze this morning on this analysis video. And we can see some really, I'm on the weekly right now, and we can see what happened with gold last night. This is last night, Kenyan time, but basically on market open, like if I look at the 15-minute candle, I just want to show you something. You see this 15-minute candle? Gold dropped about 800 or so pips, okay? About 770 pips. But on market, so total market open about 800 pips dropped, from the time the market opened up here. So, and you can see this even better on the hour candle, okay? We can see this was market open, this candle here. So there was a major drop on this specific candle. It doesn't look like much on the hourly candle, but on the 15 minutes, it's major drop, okay? 750 pips, but for market open about 800 pips. So guys, if I go back on the weekly, what we are seeing is this was actually anticipated. We can see there were previous lows here, okay, that were likely to be tested at some point. But just following, last week, the week was very volatile. If you look at the lower time frame, last week gold moved like, it was being paid, right? You can see this was NFP week generally, okay? All of this was NFP week. We dropped and then consolidated for a bit. There was a bit of an upthrust here, and then we dropped, we consolidated, and then finally dropped on NFP Friday. NFP Friday, we dropped about 400 pips, and then we closed the market in a bit of a consolidation. So this was a very tricky setup, because if you were in this trade and you didn't have your stop loss, yes, your account, you woke up with your account on fire. So anyway, so what my explanation would be that, just basically the usual, like we had some untested liquidity below here, and these levels had to be cleared. Liquidity grab happened. We also know that during the Asian session, based on what we are seeing fundamentally in terms of the news, what people are saying, there's news out there saying that there's some leveraged. There was a lot of selling in the sense of a lot of contracts were done away with, were distributed on Friday. Let me just read a comment during the Asian session, right? So according to some sources, the fall of the 1,000 pips of gold was due to the sudden sale of 24,000 gold contracts worth more than $4 billion. The only people who can do that are the institutional players, the large players. So this is not retail money. This is just institutional money at play, right? So this always happens, okay? It's just always good to anticipate, even if you can't really predict it. So I do know definitely some people's accounts went ablaze while others were lighting cigars and celebrating, right? So that being said, what do we expect of gold? Right now, I just think that, it's very possible that with this very strong rejection, gold may push up, okay, back into this liquidity zone, maybe above the 1844. Whether it happens right now is a question, but I'd like to look at the daily. So you see, this is just a very nice correction. Okay, we're just seeing a correction in the market happening. We've been in this sideways range on the daily. Okay, if I look at it, from this point when gold broke structure to the upside, okay, we've been in this sideways rally. Yes, we kind of broke structure of this high and cleared a higher high up here. So chances are we are definitely still bullish. So I believe they're still going to be pushing up. Okay, that's my take. I'd like to see what happens during the London, by the end of the London session. If I look at the 1 hour, we can see this correction. So I'm still gunning for gold to keep pushing higher. Okay, my anticipation is we get back to the 1831 at some point. Whether it's later towards the end of the week, but I'm definitely bullish. I don't want to say bullish because we're in a range, but we are correcting. So there's a lot of imbalance has been created because of these drops, and I feel like we may see gold push up to the 1795 at the very least, before maybe we see continuation of the consolidation or maybe even some pushes lower. So my target is that we likely excuse me, should get to the 17. I see this zone here as being a key zone. So my take is at some point we will get back to this level 17. That's 1794. But obviously, if you're going to take a trade, you want to go to the lower time frame and just see what's happening. So yeah, so I'm definitely expecting continued move to the upside. Yeah. So let me look at another pair, GBP, USD. So everything has been based off the strength of the dollar. Okay, so the dollar is just gained some strength following NFP volatility last week and NFP news. So what we can see here is that GU, pushed lower and then rejected on this low, pushed up, and now is back in this. It's technically back in this zone here. Okay. Now my take right now is that we may see GU, take out this weekly high. Okay, we may see GU take out this weekly high. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another retest, but let me go on the daily to just confirm that. Yeah, so my expectation is GU, yes, we look like we are forming some bullish engulfing on the daily, possibility that we may push lower, possibly to the 1.37789 level, and then push up towards the weekly high. Okay, that's really what I'm expecting. But when I look at it, let me look at it on the 1 hour. Yeah, so right now, yes, so we definitely are on a very interesting zone here. So I'm expecting a drop. Okay, I'm expecting a drop I'm expecting continued push lower. And once we push lower, then that's when we'll definitely see a change in direction. But right now, my expectation is that we're still pushing lower. That's really my expectation. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm right now. I still want to see GU pushing lower. Let me look at GBP, JPY. Just going to the weekly so that yeah. So GJ looking like, you know, like GU. Sorry, I was just clearing the chat. What we've been seeing is, I mean, there's this level here, okay, and my take is that, you know, GJ may continue to correct lower, okay, take out some lows here. So my take is right now we are pushing lower on GJ, and we may push lower, let's say, to the 150.649, which is about 200 pips downside before we push up. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. Let me just look at the 1 hour. Because lower time frames, you can always take a counter trend. Okay. So if anything, yeah, we may attempt to take out these highs, but my take is I'm looking to look at a break of structure and literally a drop. Okay. So, but before that happens, we may see a push up, okay, back to take out these highs here. You see, there's this high number one, this one here. Let me just mark it out so that you can understand what I mean by high number one. This high here. Sorry. And then there's this high here. So I'm looking at, you know, GBP, JPY, sorry, taking out these two highs before dropping. So I'll definitely be looking for a higher entry on a sell position for GJ. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll wait to see, you know, anything can happen during this session. But I think the markets will become this morning following the volatility of yesterday's night candle movements across the board. Then we look at Euro, some Euro pairs. So let me look at Euro JPY, just confirming the yen direction. Let me go on the weekly. I like to look at the weekly, guys, because especially at the start of the week. So Euro JPY is looking similar, okay? In my opinion, we're still, it's about 90 pips, you know. I would like to see Euro JPY drop a couple, like 90 to 100 pips. And then maybe, you know, continue. I feel like there's potential for us to even push lower. But let me look at the daily. If anything, there's potential to just, you know, push up. But my bias for EJ is, you know, downwards. My bias for now is for us to continue to push lower. There's quite a distance there. I mean, this is quite a bit, but this is what I'm looking at. Like there's some buy side liquidity here, and I feel like we're actually going to take that out and then push up. I mean, everything is just looking bearish right now on the lower time frame, on the daily rather. we can see this was the high, then we formed a lower high, lower high, lower high, and we've just been scaling lower highs. I mean, so my expectation is that may continue. Lower time frame, excuse me. It's Monday morning. Monday morning, everyone's voice should be sounding groggy, right? So yeah, so I just want to see, EJ continue to lower. Okay, that's my take. Euro AUD. So yeah, the markets really have opened bearish. Okay. We may see some correction upside towards midweek, but really, so far the pairs I've looked at, say for gold, I mean, gold is bearish, but we've seen, it's just self-corrected in almost 1,000 pips. So I don't think gold will continue dropping. Now for the rest of the market, I think we still feel like we are pushing lower. And EA, on the other hand, is looking interesting. Let me just mark out the weekly high here and the weekly low that I'm seeing here. So we're in the middle of this range on the weekly. We are forming some interesting price action here that can only be confirmed on a lower time frame, but we are looking bullish, okay, on Euro AUD, but we may, kind of drop a bit before the bullish continuation, okay, but I'm generally looking for us to keep pushing higher. And why? Because when we broke structure here, we've just been pushing higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, and higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And my take is we are just going to continue pushing higher, okay, on that's Euro AUD. Euro, I've looked at Euro JPY, Euro AUD, Euro CAD. So again, as usual, guys, I'm just looking at the pairs that are actively trade or actively analyze. Euro CAD, let me look at the weekly. Let me clear my chart. So yes, so Euro CAD, similarly looking bearish. There's a low here. I'm expecting it to retest at some point in the future, but we can see a nice correction and this strong rejection candles here, trying to push Euro CAD lower. There's a low here of 1.45782 that might be retested. Let me look at the, let me just post the weekly high here, just as a check. Remind me of the weekly structure. So there is potential to take out these highs here and then continue lower, okay? So, but right now, we may look like we may just drop and then push up, okay? So I'm not seeing Euro CAD dropping lower than 1.45782 level, but I would like to see it drop and then push up, but we may just start seeing the push up, okay? Okay, but for now, I'm expecting lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, before we see any continuation to the upside. That's Euro CAD. Then we have US 30. So US 30, nothing much happening, it's just sitting atop here. So the weekly candle is looking like it's, obviously making printing its direction. There's a potential that US 30 may break out, but right now, I don't think we are ready. We are still in this sideways range, so we may see some up down movement here on US 30. But long term, looking at this price action here, I am expecting US30 to actually break out. But right now, I feel like, we are still going to be in this range, sideways range. So we may even begin to see US30 go lower. Okay. And as you can see, even on the 1 hour candle, I am expecting US30 to actually push lower. So technically what I'm saying, on the short term, the market is really looking bearish. Okay, guys, generally. Okay. That's what I'm seeing. So this dropped to the 34,717 before we see any push higher. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we have some liquidity downside here that may need to be taken out. So I'm expecting that to drop. Okay, whether it's aggressive or calm, that's what my expectation is. Okay, on US30. So yeah, so gold, like I said, is, after that major drop, we're just going to see gold continue upwards, and you can see it's already started that move. GBP, USD, GU, we can see similarly, kind of looking the same, but, even with this push higher, okay, we may push up, but I would really like to see GU continue to descend. Okay. There's an interesting level on the 1 hour here that GU may retest in the future. Okay. But, right now we are looking at this and it's looking like it wants to push up, but I'm really hoping that it first, drops before we see the push up. Okay. I'm just going over this again, just to remind myself. Same thing with GJ. Okay. Bearish. So again, guys, we're just looking bearish this beginning of the week. Yeah. The only pair that may push up before we see yeah, okay. So that's, yeah, so guys, that's it for today. That's it for today. That's it for today. I just want to look at EA one more time. Yeah, so bearish. So guys, I'm generally bearish on all the pairs this week. Generally, so I feel like we will continue to see lower prices across the board before we see any uptrend begin. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that this analysis has been helpful to some extent, guys. It's a Monday morning. I'm still going to keep on looking at the charts. We have our New York session. We get into the New York session later today. I may do a pre-market New York session analysis, but we'll see based on how I see things. If I see any difference in direction in price for any of the pairs I've talked about, I will definitely do a pre-session analysis. So thank you once again, guys. Sorry for tuning in, and see you soon. Thank you. Bye.